I think people are recognizing that for some, it's not worth it for them. It's not worth it to
marriage or kids.
Both.
Yeah. She's not going to find out until she either proposes herself or leaves.
Yeah, I don't think she
leaves and then he's like, okay, we'll get married. Like, I would rather marry you than lose you.
That's still not better in my eyes. Because that would show the type of man he's going to be. If it means a lot to you, he's not going to do it. He's not going to do it until you're going to leave.
Mm-hmm.
And no. Hi, I'm Jeena.
Hey, I'm Drue.
And welcome to Hey There Adulting, where people who can't adult find a diverse, inclusive community to figure life out with. Oh my goodness.
You struggling this morning a little bit?
No, yes and no. I mean, I'm a little tired, but not too bad. Penguin is like back in our bed all the time. And so
Oh yeah.
he's
Was it yesterday or day before he woke up twice? So he like wakes up around midnight or 1, comes in our bed, and then he woke up at like 3 o'clock yelling, Dad. He's literally right beside me. And I'm like, what? He's like, can I sleep with you? I'm like, dude, you're already here. Like, he just wanted to cuddle. Like, he wanted me to face him and hold him.
There was another night where he told you he wanted you to go back to his bed.
You come to my bed tonight?
No.
Like, come to my bed. I should have said yes. And then got there and then went back to my bed. Yeah, I should have ditched him. But I didn't.
Yeah, I don't have to deal with that because that's our little...
Usually what I do, like when they come out of our bed, is I just turn my back to him. Because I don't mind if like his knees or feet or face or whatever's in my back. I just can't have it like in my face. You know, so usually I just turn my back to him.
And then he's all over me.
And that's when he started like, yeah, and then he cuddles with you, which is even better because then I get more space.
Well, today we're going to be talking about should I get married?
That's a good topic.
It's a really good topic. Actually, I just saw TikTok with someone who was just like, I already blocked my boyfriend so they can't see this. But like, what did you ladies do? Like, what did you do to get your boyfriend to pop the question and want to marry you? You want to know what my answer was?
Leave him.
No, I said I did absolutely nothing.
Oh, you did nothing?
I did nothing out of the ordinary. And there was nothing special that I did.
Oh, I thought she was asking you what she should do.
Oh, no.
I thought she was asking you in the post, like, what should I do to get my
well, yeah,
boyfriend
she
to propose and stuff like that?
She is asking that. She's like basically saying like, what did y'all do? What should I do? Because they've not married. They were together for, I mean, I'm pretty sure I saved it.
Doesn't this just come down to a values question though?
No.
Like marriage being a value of your... I'm just trying to think through, like, I do know that when we were younger, people... I just feel like in society as a whole right now, people don't care to get married. Like we don't mind living together 3, 4, 5 years or whatever. Like there's not this big stigma on getting married. It could just be growing up in the South when I was younger that people didn't live together before they got married. And if they did, it was looked down upon. Yeah,
I don't think that's it. And I say that because often these ladies are like, what should I do? He's never proposed. And then they'll break up. So she'll break up with him. And then immediately the next girl that he is with, that ends up being the girl that he marries. And so I don't think it's a values thing. I think it's a lot of these women are not recognizing the fact that these men are not as interested in them as the women are is interested in the men. So the guy's happy. He's like, I like this, but not enough to marry her. And so once the once she recognized that, because she's probably putting her all into it, right? And he's like, this is good for now. Like, I do like you a lot. Probably loves her, but not love them enough to want to marry them. And so he just doesn't want to marry them. And so then she's probably thinking there must be something that I'm doing wrong. There must be some secret sauce. There is no secret sauce. If I feel like you knew immediately that you wanted to marry me. Mm-hmm. I mean, you were talking about it very early on.
But are we not in a day and age that she could propose to him?
Why would she propose to him if he's not that I'm against women proposing to men, but I don't think that's the issue. I think he's not that interested to marry her.
Then she would find out when she proposed to him and he said no, right?
Okay, so the person,
problem solved.
The person,
give me her TikTok.
You were so nervous.
Message her.
You were so nervous to ask me to marry me the first time. And then even when we for our 10-year anniversary, when you had to re-ask me, you were so nervous. Yeah. Asking that is like a big deal, especially when there's a stigma of like it should be the man doing it. Why was she like?
If they've been together 3 years already. And she's already asked him a couple times, like, hey, I think we should get married or let's get married kind of thing, right? And he just is not proposing and it's not there and stuff like that. What prevents her from taking that into her hands and creating the proposal and proposing to him?
She could. Maybe she's not ready to see the response. And
I still think it comes down to the value that she wants a man to pursue her and propose to her, right? And he's not lining up with that value, and she just has to decide how important that is to her. If it's not important that she gets married, then she just stay with him forever. If it's important that she gets married, then she needs to find someone else.
I mean, you're not wrong, but in the society that we live in, where it's usually the woman who is the one who is asked, not the person who is asking.
Yeah, I just think people get stuck in this. I just have some personal beliefs that, like, within a year if you want to marry someone or not.
I think it's even less than that.
I think it's less, but I give grace. And, like, I think in at least a year, if you want to marry someone or not. And you should be able to make that determination. Now, if you're having, like, active talks, like, I want to graduate before I propose. I want to get out of debt before I propose. Like,
I don't know if I even agree with that.
No, I'm not saying I agree with that, but if there's communication around that, then I could kind of see delaying, like if she's asking to get married, delaying it, right? But if if 3 years has gone by and he's showing no inclination, she either has to take it in her own hands and propose herself or go find somebody else.
Well, let's listen to this first. And then we'll kind of go from there.
I need to know something. For those of you that are married, how did you get your significant other to see the value in getting engaged and getting married? It hurts me to even be posting this, but I have waited so long for those things and they haven't happened yet. He says it's really selfish of me to ask for them. So help a girl out. I need some advice.
100% of value. I'm telling you, it's a value issue.
Maybe.
She just because she says, he says I'm so selfish for asking for those things. And in my head, I immediately play through him saying, I'm giving you everything that we would have if we were married. I'm giving you a place to stay. I'm paying the bills. Like, we're creating this life. We don't have to get married to have all that.
Yeah, but I'm smart enough to know he could be doing all that and it means nothing still. That means nothing.
Yeah.
It could be a value thing. I don't know. But I just feel like no. Because I've heard the same men who will say the same thing. Like, I'm doing everything. We're doing everything. We're married without the paper. Why do you want that? I think you're just asking for too much. Leave that woman and then get married to the very next woman right after that. And I think, again, I still stand by the idea that he loves her, but not enough to marry her. She's not the right person.
No, yeah. Yeah, and she's not gonna find out until she either proposes herself or leaves.
Yeah, I don't think she should
leaves, and then he's like, okay, we'll get married. Like, I would rather marry you than lose you.
That's still not better in my eyes.
I mean,
because that would show the type of man he's going to be in a marriage, where he's not going to do anything that if it means a lot to you, he's not going to do it. He's not going to do it until you're going to leave. And no.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I agree. I 100% agree with you. You are totally right.
When do you think is the right time to get married?
Man, I do think that's like super individualized. I mean, we got married crazy fast.
And really young.
Within 6 months, we were married. of like first officially dating to 6 months we were married.
Yeah.
And so ours was like engagement, marriage, wedding planning, everything happened extremely fast.
So we started dating in September, got engaged in November, got married that very next March.
Yep. Yeah. I don't know. I can't put a specific timeline on it because I think everyone has different circumstances. Like I really do think
feel like
some
there's a
people,
maximum?
I mean, I think if you go more than 5 years together with
That's
someone
long.
without getting married, well, I'm thinking like 4 years for school, or like I'm trying to think of any reason that you would delay getting married. I'm giving a lot of grace. Like I'm trying to put myself in that person's shoes of like why they wouldn't, knowing myself, I didn't do that. I would say if it's after 5 years and one of the parties is wanting to get married still, like that's too long.
I feel like you are the most indecisive person ever. And like you were so sure in your decision and like knew that's what you wanted to do. I feel like even before I did. Before I did.
No, I'm saying I'm not that way, but I'm trying to put myself in someone else's shoes.
Yeah.
Because you also have, here you go. What about this situation? You also have same-sex couples that either legally or by law and stuff like that, they can't get married. And so like they wait an extremely long time.
Yeah, but that's different. And now I feel like most states you can. I think federally you can.
Yeah.
So
what if you like can't tell your family though? What if you have to wait till like
that's
your
not
dad
what we're
passes
talking about.
away?
That's not what we're talking about. Getting married, like do it in a secret. I don't know.
You picked the wrong person today because I've been watching I'm in a secret relationship on TikTok.
Oh my goodness.
So, these people wait like 2 years without even meeting the other person's family. So you're talking about marriage, and I'm just thinking in my head the lady that like didn't even meet the guy's family, but they had a joint savings account and he built a house and like all this crazy stuff. So
we were dating and I met your mom. We weren't even engaged.
Yeah, I had no problem with you like meeting my parents. Like, hey, here's my family, here's my life. Like, you're either gonna run or not. Here you go.
I didn't run.
So, but I think that speaks to you talking about being all in, and that's what it is. Like, if this guy is all in to his potential future wife, right? He would be all in and want to give her everything. It's like that old adage, like, let me lasso the moon and give it to you, kind of thing. Like, if she's desperately on TikTok, you can hear kind of some of the desperation in her voice in that TikTok. And she's been with this guy for 3 years. I'm sure she has shown him that desperation. She's shown him wedding gowns. She's showed him wedding venues. She's talked about how exciting it would be to get married. She's talked about the engagement and wanting to get proposed to her. Like if he truly is head over heels for her, unless there's some trauma we're not seeing on his side, like his mom was in an abusive relationship and he vowed to himself that never get married. That
sounds like some Bridgerton stuff.
It probably is Bridgerton stuff, but we don't hear his side. There could be some trauma on his side like that, but outside of that, like he should want to try to give her everything that she wants.
Yeah, but then you're also making it sound like, well, because he might have some trauma, like.
No, I'm thinking of the exception. I'm thinking of the exception.
But still, I don't feel like that's an exception because you're basically, it sounds like you're insinuating this idea of, well, he may have trauma and that's why he doesn't want to get married. If he has trauma and he has things that he needs to work through, then the right thing would be to let her go, work on that. Yeah, let her go, work on it. And then hopefully, by the grace of God, she's still available. And then after you worked on yourself, then revisit. And then if not, then let her go so she can find a person.
That sounds like some Bridgerton stuff right there.
Let her go.
Yeah. Let her go. As a man, you're not going to let her go. I can just tell you the male perspective. Once you have her and you have that hold on her, and she's making you dinner and making you happy, you're not going to let her go. You'll drag her on and lead her on forever, but you're not going to let her go.
You hear this, you guys? Make him let you go. You break it off, ghost him, move to another country. I do not care. Go.
We've been together 3 years and you won't marry me, so I'm moving to another country and ghosting you?
Yes.
What?
Yes. That is so wrong. You're not going to marry them, but you're going to drag them on because you like it. Like, no, either make the decision. It'd be so sad.
You know what my dad would always say? Let me give you the old Southern adage.
I don't care.
You ready?
Go ahead, but still don't care.
Why buy the cow when you can have the milk? That's right. I know. It's profound. Let that sink in. That is profound right there.
So you're saying let the guy who's dating our daughter, let them drag it on?
No, I'm not giving everyone out there advice to do this. I am telling you what I feel a typical guy mentality is. Because I feel what I'm hearing from you is a very typical female mentality of like you telling the guy he needs to let her go. Like, I feel like that is more your mindset
I think
and your
most
approach.
women would be like, you need to try harder. You're not doing all the things. That's what most women would say.
Is that what people are saying in her comments? Like, try harder and do more?
I don't know. Let me look. But I think that's what happens very often is like a lot of women will usually say, you need to do this. This is what you need to do.
No, you heard my advice to her. What was my advice? She should propose and then she'll find out for sure, right? Mm-hmm. Or she should move on. Like, that's my actual advice. My actual advice to her, like, if getting married is that important and it's not important to him, like, she can go and propose.
Okay, but then what about this advice? I got a shut up ring because I wanted that and he didn't. He checked out. He grew to resent me. We broke up because I didn't accept the behavior anymore and I've hated feeling worthless. Don't convince. I think she should leave him. I think a lot of people are told, you got to push it. You got to push it. I don't think you need to push anything. In my comment to her, I said, I did absolutely nothing. And I truly believe I did absolutely nothing. I was just myself and you wanted to marry me. I didn't have to do
You did absolutely nothing to convince me to try to convince me to marry you. That's what you're talking about.
Yes.
You still loved me. You bought me gifts. Like,
yeah, but like
all of that stuff.
I didn't do anything extra.
You didn't have to. You loved me. So you did all the extra stuff. We're saying the same thing and arguing about it.
I know, but I want to emphasize
I just
women,
want to let her
did
know.
Nothing.
I just want to let her know if she does get married to this guy, this is what she has to look forward to.
Shut up.
Agreeing and arguing about it at the same time.
I'm just re-emphasizing that I did nothing.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have to put so much thought into it.
Here's a good question, because you're very rational with this and you have great advice. She's in this situation. She's been with this guy 3 years. He does, quotes, everything right except proposing. Like, everything. It's beautiful. Because she won't find anything as good. Or maybe she's in a different dating market now than she was when they first got together. Like we've talked about before in our podcast, how the dating life has shifted to apps and it's hard to find genuine people on apps and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Is there a real concern that, like, if this is the only pain point that she has, like, that she has to decide if it's worth leaving him over that? Like, is it just a piece of paper that she's so concerned about that everything else is going really well that...
Oh, well,
you see what I'm saying?
What advice I would give her? The fact that, if we're talking about this woman in particular, the fact that she's coming onto TikTok and asking that even if everything is right and this is the only issue, I will still tell her to leave him.
Okay.
And the reason for that is that it matters to her.
Don't worry about, like, having to find someone else or if nobody else comes along or anything like that.
I think we've talked about it in, like, marriage couples therapy, right? That I'm not staying with you just for the kids, right?
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
I've said that a bunch of times. Like, I would never stay with you just for the kids or just because I don't want to get embarrassed or anything like that. I've said that I want to be in a happy marriage. I want to be happy with you. And so for her, she's not happy. She wants to be married. She wants that. It's important to her. So even if everything is right, like I knew if like something was wrong and like we had to get divorced, I knew people would probably be like, you can't leave him. He's such a great dad. He's so nice. He's a good guy. And I'd be like, well, I wasn't happy. And that's enough. That's enough. And she's not happy. I'm very happy with you. That's why we're stuck with each other. Like, I'm very, very happy. I'm not staying with you because I feel like we have a lot of kids or I'm stuck or I wouldn't be able to find somebody else. I truly know I would be able to find somebody else. It's not even a question or anything like that. I'm with you.
Just say it wouldn't be as good, but maybe.
I am with you because I 1,000, 6,000, infinity. I don't even know if there's a number big enough.
It is. Iron Man said it. What is it? I love you what? Is it 10,000? 3,000. Thank you, Natalia. Thank you. It was close. It was close. It's I love you 3,000.
3,000 what?
Like 3,000. You are an MCU fan and you don't know? Jeena Wilder. Oh my goodness. Y'all come for her. Y'all come for her.
You're so mean. You're telling people to come after your wife?
You say you're a comic fan, an MCU fan, and you don't know Love You 3,000?
I don't want people to know that.
Why not?
Because I want to seem like uncool and like...
You do want to seem uncool?
Yeah. I don't want people to know how cool I am. I'm boring.
Okay. Okay. I won't tell people you're a big nerd.
No, don't you dare.
Ow.
No, I just feel like people always have these things like, oh, but he does this and does this and you guys are so happy and you have so much, and it's like that doesn't invalidate. There's one thing that she really, really wants, and you're basically saying this one thing that's really important to you, ignore it because all this other stuff is good. But it doesn't make it any better when it's the one thing that she wants right now.
No, I never understood because I actually worked. My dad hired this guy to build pools when we were growing up, and Lee. And Lee and his partner had been together 12 years and never got married. And she wanted to get married. And he's like, it's just a piece of paper. Like, it's not worth anything. Like, they had kids. They had like a 10-year-old. Like, they had kids and like basically anything outside of like having that piece of paper or whatever they were doing, filing taxes together. They considered each other family. They would see in-laws, like everything, but he would not get married to her.
Are they still together?
I don't know. But the thought I'm trying to get to is I never understood. Lee would always say, it's just a piece of paper. It's not worth anything. Like, it's not a big deal. Well, if it's not a big deal to you, like if it's just a piece of paper, why not go get it? Like, why not go to the courthouse and go get the piece of paper? Like, it really, like, I never understood that rationale. Yeah. And that's, I think, because they know it is a big deal.
Honestly, you're thinking it that way, but, like, I'm thinking of the way of, like, if it's not a big deal and you truly care about this person, why not do it just for them? Because there have been a lot of things that I'm like, I don't care about or I don't want to do, but I've done it just for you. Right? Like, I know how much it means to you, how much you value it. And I think you could think of a bunch of things in your mind right now that you've seen me do for you because of the fact that I know, like, it means a lot to you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so if he's like, I really don't care, it's not that deep, it's not that important, it's just a piece of paper. You're right. Like, why not just do it? If it doesn't mean that much, do it for that person.
Yeah.
Do it like you truly care about them and love them. Do it for them. Because you care about that person, right? And so I think that's why I will always stand on the hill of like, if they're not willing to do it and you really want it, leave them.
Yeah.
Because there's so many ways to look at it to show that person truly doesn't care about you enough to like marry you.
Yeah. I mean, I think it still just shows me too, like you were saying earlier, that in our society, like proposing and all that, it does fall on like the male in the relationship still.
Well, there was this one, I don't know if I saved it or not, but there was this one researcher, or she was like a marriage counselor, something like that. But she talked about how the only marriages that she ever saw work were either the couples were equally in love with each other, like both obsessed with each other and loved, or the husband loved the wife more than the wife loved the husband. right? She's like, those are the only marriages that I've seen work. If the wife loves the husband more than the husband loves the wife, she's like, I've never seen those work. And I think that also just speaks to why maybe I would always want a guy to propose more than the woman, because what she was trying to say was basically that a lot of women will always put their all into the marriage, no matter if if they're equally like yoked in like how much love they have for each other, or if it's the guy that ends up caring for the wife more than the wife cares for the guy. The wife, no matter where they're at on that system, which three they are, the woman will always put all her effort into that marriage, right? But she just said that that's something that women naturally do, is that they'll always just put their all. But she's like, when it's a guy who just doesn't care for the woman as much as the woman cares for them, she's like, it just seems like the guy just checks out. And then that woman's left with like having to put all the work, and then they leave or they just are not together. And I think that's like one of the many reasons why I think I would prefer men proposing to women in in couples. Like, not that I'm against women, like if they do it, it's not bad. I think
it's easy for me to talk about because I don't have to worry about it for myself anymore. It's easy for me to sit and say, have the woman propose. But I don't think I could imagine you proposing to me when we were first together. Like, I think I felt like that was my right or what I should do, or and I'm sure a lot of that is like how I grew up and stuff like that. But yeah, I just can't envision.
And I have a strong personality too. Like, I have probably the personality that most guys would hate. Love that for myself. I'm very I have a very, very strong personality. I feel like you have a very, very strong personality. You're not the type of person to just let me like run everything in our household. Like, it's not like that. And like, even with me being like, I feel like maybe a feminist, or I don't know what people would say about my persona, but even with my persona that I do have, I still don't think I would ever be the type of person to propose. And I don't know if that is society has just really influenced that.
I'm sure there's multiple factors. Just the society we live in. I'm sure it's the way that we grow up. If we have any religious affiliations, our parents have a heavy impact on us with that, and seeing how our parents do things and stuff like that. So,
do you feel like marriage? Obviously, I can't even ask you, like, do you feel like marriage changed us? Like, what do you feel like has changed in marriage? What do you think that a lot of these people who are wanting to get married, what are they looking for? Like, what is the things that change that they're specifically wanting?
I don't know if I can speak for other people, but just for me, my marriage overall is just a commitment to that other person for an extended period of time, typically like your entire life.
So you think that the commitment is what they want?
No, I can't speak to what they want, just what people view as what's the difference between just living with somebody and being married.
I don't know if it's just a commitment.
I'm not saying it's just commitment, but for me, that's the biggest way that I view it. Yeah. Okay. If you get married, right, and you are Jeff Bezos, and you decide to get divorced, you're going to give up $500 million. Like, I think some people take that into, that's like a difference between if they were not have gotten married and they just created this life together and then they got divorced.
But what about the people who have nothing like that, who are not Jeff Bezos, who have a lot to lose?
But it's still the stigma behind you're committing to being with that person and they own half of whatever you own. And that can be really hard going from like a single person, especially as you get older. So we were younger when we got married, so we had nothing. But typically people are getting married in their late 20s when they're starting to be established. There's people that get married and they already both have a house. When they get married, they're saying, hey, half of my house is now yours and half of your house is now mine. And your financial decisions affect me and my financial decisions are going to impact and affect you.
Just look at my ring.
It's a bigger level of commitment than just saying like, okay, at least for me, from a guy's perspective, from my perspective, right? Mm-hmm. If I'm not married to you, I can leave at any time. And maybe that's a difference and why it's hard for you to conceptualize why, like, the commitment is the biggest thing. But, like,
I don't have a hard time conceptualizing it. I just feel like I don't know if that's truly it.
mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's truly it.
Then what's the one thing that you would say is the difference between that either people are wanting by getting married, or see the difference between not being married and being married?
I don't know. I'll be honest, I don't know.
Yeah.
Because I'm trying to think of like what's changed, like, and like how marriage has changed us, and like a lot of it that has changed, we could have gotten just by being together, like just never getting married, just staying together, right? Because I was like, oh, maybe it's like the idea of like how we've changed and grown together over the last 12, 13 years. But you can get that without ever getting married. And so there's a lot that has changed in our marriage. And maybe it's one of those things that you really can't put words to. Maybe there's some, don't look at me like that.
I can put words to it.
I don't want you to put words in for me. No, thank you.
I'm not going to. I've said my piece of what I think it is. I mean, again, don't forget, like, there are multiple components to it. One is a religious aspect of it, right?
Yeah.
Like, a religious aspect of, like, your, God is anointing your marriage and blessing it and unifying you into one being or one person. Mm-hmm. You know, and you're sacrificing for that till death do you part, and sickness or health. Mm-hmm. You know, like, everyone has had someone in their family network that's gotten cancer. Mm-hmm. Before, right? I think at this point in life, like in our society, like, I don't know if you could talk to somebody and somebody not in their immediate or extended family has not had cancer. Mm-hmm. So when you're getting married and committing to that person, you're like saying like, hey, even if they get sick, wheelchair bound, bed bound, cancer, whatever, I'm going to be there to lift them up and to support them. Mm-hmm. And we all know how hard that is for like caregivers, and, like, to do that, you know?
Yeah, but then I can still see you still having friends or family, or even someone who you've been with for a really long time, with or without the marriage certificate, still being there with you through the sickness. And so that's why I feel like there's almost something that you can't even put words to. I can't describe, that makes it a little bit different. And maybe that's why everybody who, like that woman who desperately wanted to get married to this person, why she knows it's so important to get married. And I wish I could like find the words to say so that and people couldn't understand why it's so important. But like I can't. I know marriage has changed us, and there's been a lot of things that marriage has changed about us. I don't feel like I'm the same person I was 13 years ago. Happily so. Like I'm not the same person, but again, I can't put the words to why our marriage has changed us for the better. Because I do feel like it's changed us for the better.
I mean, you have me in your life all the time now. What are you talking about?
You don't get tired.
I can tell you exactly why your life is better now than it was before we were married. Mm-hmm. Just look this way. There's your answer. You're right. Words cannot describe. If you guys are listening this on the audio podcast, I apologize. You cannot see the reason why marriage has changed Jeena, but it's right here.
I'm so sorry, y'all. I married the man with the biggest head. I really did. 100% apologize.
You don't have to apologize for being great.
Marriage regrets.
That's a good one.
Do you think you can rush into marriage? Do you feel like we rushed into marriage?
I do think you can rush into marriage as a lifelong commitment, for sure. But I think it was an appropriate time for us.
You do?
I think we could have slowed down a little bit, but I think we were both so sure in our decision. when I think back about us specifically, I think we rushed after marriage, not before. So like, I don't think we rushed getting married, right? Like it was a fast pace, but I was happy with like being married and securing our like selves as a married couple and all that.
Okay, cool.
I think it's after we were married, we jumped straight into like get a career, do responsibilities, have children, grow our family, be a married couple.
Be a married couple.
Like be a 1940s or 1950s married couple.
Okay.
Like I go to work, you stay home. And like we didn't try to travel. We didn't vacation. We didn't explore the world. We were so worried about like building our finances and making sure we didn't have debt that we didn't. I don't feel like we truly enjoyed like our first year of marriage. First couple years probably.
Yeah, I agree. There's nothing I would say other than, yeah, you're right. I feel like you said it in the best way possible, because we've talked about that often, how we wish that we would have had a couple years more to ourselves before we had kids. We didn't have years. We had months. We had months where it was just the two of us. And not to say like I'm not happy with how things turned out, but I do wish we would have gotten to know who those people were without the kiddos. Because I really like the people who we are with kids. And so I feel like we would have definitely liked who we are without the kids too.
Yeah, I agree. So yes, I think people can rush into it. No, I don't feel like we did, but I think we were so focused on what we had to do afterwards. We didn't enjoy traveling or that time after.
How about the whole money? Do you wish we would have had money right when we first got married?
Yeah.
You do?
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say the opposite, because I remember how we kept talking about how we loved those early days when we were so broke and so poor.
I love those early days, but it doesn't mean it wouldn't have been nice to have money. Like, I don't regret not having money when we first got married, but if like you asked me like, would you have liked a nicer place to live when you first got married? Yeah.
I don't know.
Like, I think that's just wanting nice things for you and the kids and all that stuff. Not so much like I would just want a bunch of money when we got married, but like, yeah, it would have been nice.
You want to know my big regret?
What?
We got married.
You regret us getting married?
No, I regret us. I will say this. I regret us having a wedding. I don't regret us having getting married. I regret us having a wedding. I wish we would have eloped.
Yeah.
You know this.
We've talked about this, yeah.
Yeah, I 100% wish we would have eloped. I feel like I don't feel like marriage is a scam. Weddings are a scam. I understand why.
Says the woman that is going to throw the biggest weddings ever for our daughters.
Okay, if they want it.
I want to say this moment.
Wait, hold on. No, listen to me before you start. Okay, I'll let you go. But listen. I also am the woman who is literally going to pay our kids to not get married and give them money so they could put towards a home or put towards a business. So I value marriage. I don't value weddings.
So you're going to pay them not to have a ceremony, not to get married.
Yes. Yeah. Wedding.
Yeah. You said marriage.
Oh, okay,
you said you're going to pay them not to get married.
I would pay them not to have a wedding.
Yeah. To have the big ceremony and stuff like that. Yeah.
Because I think that's one thing that I've said. I think I've said it on the podcast before. I really wish we would have just got like eloped. I really wish we would have just like ran away, got like engaged, and then a couple weeks later eloped, and then came back. And then,
you know, I used to say that like, I just wish we would have eloped, but I do have very fond memories of all the family coming together and having that time with family and stuff. And so I don't think I would have given up that time with family. Again, I think that's the rushing part that I'm talking about. Like, oh, if we just didn't have a ceremony, we could add money to jumpstart career or jumpstart the house or stuff like that. You know, like if you're like, we didn't have a ceremony so we could go travel Europe for a month, like backpack Europe for a month. Like, yeah, I would think that would be like, you know, building, basically activities centered around building, strengthening our relationships and getting to know each other better after we're married, not just before.
Yeah.
But that also could come from the idea that we got married so fast. If we had 2 years before we got married and traveled that time, then we wouldn't need that time after we got married either.
True.
So I do recognize that as well.
Yeah. You have any other regrets?
What are my life regrets? No, I don't think so.
Like maybe regrets on how we handled money, or regrets on in-law relationships?
No.
No? Okay.
No.
I
have no regrets. I have zero regrets.
You're just trying to make me look bad. He's just trying to make me look bad, guys.
I have to be perfect. I just set myself up of the reason why you're as good as you are. And we know how good you are, so I gotta step it up a little bit.
Do you feel like it's a modern day trend to wait longer before getting married?
Yeah, I think it is.
What do you think is causing it?
I mean, I just had a smart remark, but I'm not going to say it.
No, go ahead.
I'll
Say
give it to myself. So, I don't know if this is valid for the U.S., right? But I like to just browse through news articles and stuff like that. I just recently saw that Japan has visas for people to get women pregnant. Have you seen that yet?
No.
Yes.
Like
the country the country of Japan has come out with a visa that you can go over there from 1 day to like a couple months with the objective to get somebody pregnant because of declining birth rates and because they're a younger generation are not
so these visas must be for men.
I'm assuming if you can get somebody
to impregnate Japanese women?
Yes. I also saw a report that sales of adult diapers just surpassed sales of baby diapers in Japan.
That's so sad.
Mm-hmm.
It says Japan's giving $75,000 for foreigners, is what it says, to get their women pregnant.
I'm married. I can't do it. How much?
$75,000.
I'm just playing. You know I have only eyes for you, unless you need $75,000.
Yeah, move over.
I think it's a breakdown of traditional ideals, is what it is to me. Like, there's a lot of other factors. We have a couple wars going on in the world that scare people. We have talks of overpopulation.
Not right now. It's definitely underpopulated.
Well, no, we haven't had conversations with Blake. When we had our podcast about how many kids we have and stuff like that, Blake said, yeah, I worry about overpopulation. So us having no kids kind of makes up for y'all having so many kids.
Yeah, but with so many...
Not saying that's right. I'm just talking about
I'm just saying just now where we see so many like first world countries that are talking about the decline of birth rates. We know that eventually a lot of like high tech owners and billionaires are talking about the fact that there soon is not going to be not enough people in the workforce.
Well, Elon Musk having babies left and right.
You keep interrupting me. I'm just saying that it's just something. I know there's not an overpopulation problem. They're seeing a decrease. And so, yeah, but it also feels like a consequence of your actions. Like here in the U.S., we see declining birth rates. I think that's one of the reasons why we have the overturning of Roe v. Wade. And that's just because of the declining birth rate. And so because of that, I think that may be why they overturned it, but...
I think that goes hand in hand, though, with people putting off marriage till later. There is still a big part of our country that has traditional values. Like, you see that, I think, just throughout news and stuff like that. And so, just like I grew up that, like... oh, don't have babies out of wedlock or don't have children without being married. Mm-hmm. I think you still have a large part of the population that has those values. And so if they're pushing marriage to later, or never getting married, then they're not having kids.
The values have always been there. I mean, there are a lot of people who had children out of wedlock. The values have always been there. I think people are truly just choosing to have less kids. And I don't think it's just because people are wanting to be married before having kids. I think people are recognizing that for some, it's not worth it for them. It's not worth it to
marriage
have
or kids.
both. Both.
Yeah.
For us, it was completely worth it. I wanted to have a big family. I wanted to get married, right?
You had to snag this hot guy.
But you're making that super hard. You're in a very like giddy, interrupty, happy mood, and I love it. Yeah, I don't think that's the reason, because I think that those values have always been there, and the values were there even more so even back then than they are now, and we had a lot of people having children out.
You have baby boomers.
We have
Now,
baby
remember
boomers.
the baby boomers?
We have baby boomers for a reason.
Why?
Because of the fact, like, I'm just trying to say is like, if it was just truly the values were more prominent. People actually believing that, like, you have to be married before you have kids. You know, you have to court people and do things a certain way. And if that was truly the reason why now people are having less kids, then that would have happened back then as well. And I don't think that's it. That's all. Ooh, okay. I just thought of this. Would you ever be okay with us like having separate bedrooms or separate homes?
I think separate homes is we're separated. Like we're both living in separate homes.
Yeah, like maybe the homes are right next to each other, or we live in like a duplex.
Who has the money to buy two homes right next to each other?
I don't know their life. What if they got married and they already, or like a lot later in their life, like they were both in their 30s and each had their home, and then
A lot later in their life, in their 30s. We're in our 30s. Oh my goodness, Jeena.
later in life, I'm talking about.
Did you buy a house? Did you buy a house next to ours? That's what I need to know.
No, but I'm just thinking about modern day marriages and stuff like that.
If you're living in two separate houses that you're separated, because most people can't afford or don't buy two houses next to each other. And I actually grew up with an aunt and uncle that lived in two separate houses but never got divorced. But it was because they were
Is it the
separated.
rich one with the horses?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. They were separated?
They were separated, yes. They went through some tough time, but they ended up getting back together and like reconciling everything. And when they did that, they moved back into one house and spent time together.
Okay.
But like for travel, if you like are traveling somewhere and have to, like if I had a job in California and you were here in Georgia and I had to travel back to California every 2 months to live there, like you're living in a separate house. But when we're in the same area, we're living together. Like people get stationed overseas for military. They're living somewhere separate.
So basically you're saying that it's already happening and no big deal.
If it's like work related, yeah, that's fine. If it's just like you're literally living in two separate houses, like you have a double life. Like you're living two different lives. And that's not good. If it's 2 bedrooms, because that's more realistic. There's couples that do that and they do it for different reasons. One could be like snoring. Like you go and you get your hanky panky and then you go sleep in other rooms.
Hanky panky.
Like, and that's just, I think that's individual to the couple. I'm not going to judge a couple for sleeping in separate rooms.
But you will judge them for sleeping in different houses?
Yes, 100%. That just doesn't like, yeah. What about you? What are your thoughts on people like, I think we should move away from the separate house thing. What is your thoughts on people sleeping in separate bedrooms?
I don't know if I would be okay with it for us. Mm-hmm. I do see like the benefit of it, like, ooh, like my own little space. Because sometimes like I do want to just veg out and just watch a bunch of like boring or annoying shows that I know you just ask me a bunch of questions like, what happened here? What's happening? When I already know you have no interest in this show. Like I can see the benefit, but overall, it would never be more beneficial than sleeping in the same bed, cuddling, and going to sleep together. So, and the hanky pankies. I feel like the hanky pankies would decrease. So, no, but like again, I don't see like why I would be like, oh, why do you do that? Like to another couple who sleeps in separate rooms. I don't think I would ever be like, that's wrong or that's stupid. Or like I said, I see the benefit. Keeping like, I feel like I am messier than you too. And so like you wouldn't have to deal with my mess. Like any of that, like I feel like there's a lot of benefits, but in the end I would prefer us to have the same room. So I would we would not be no Lucy or Ricardo over here. None of that.
No, I mean I know we're on the same page of like we like being in the same room to go to sleep and like we want to sleep in the same room, but I'm not gonna judge a couple that sleeps in separate rooms.
But he will judge you if you sleep in different houses.
Yes, 100%.
How about like how to navigate the pressure to have kids after marriage?
I feel like that's, if both of you are on the same page, I feel like that's easy. If you're not on the same page, I don't feel like it is.
Okay.
So I think if both partners are on the same page, we're not having kids, we're going to be dinks. I think it's easy because you just support each other and you have each other and you grow. It actually bonds your relationship probably a little bit more. I think if it's separate, it becomes incredibly difficult, especially with like in-laws and pressure from like everyone pressuring you or making you feel like the bad guy or girl for not wanting to have kids.
Okay. How long? Okay. I don't think anyone knows. Like, how long did we wait until we have kids?
How long did we wait?
Yeah.
Like honeymoon? Like we didn't wait. Like that's why it's silly to me. Like we didn't wait. We went straight for it.
We went straight for it. We found out that I'm
fertile. Fertile myrtle.
Yeah. No lie. Every single time we've tried to get pregnant, like, hey, we're going to get pregnant this month. We've gotten pregnant that month.
Yeah.
Like.
That does not happen for everyone.
No.
But
I honestly,
it happens for you for sure.
Yeah. But I also have a very regular cycle. I am every 26 days. I have my luteal cycle days. I can tell you all of it. It's like
they don't want to know all that.
You want to know?
No, they don't.
My luteal cycle is like it's not short. It's not too short where I can't get pregnant, but it is pretty close. And so I've been one of those people that tracks. I would tell any woman, like, or any teenager, like, not just for pregnancy, to track your cycle and to get to know it really, really well. Because I think that also helped us getting pregnant, because I knew exactly what times that we need to do that hanky-panky for us to have have those babies. And so, every single time we've wanted to have a baby, we've gotten pregnant. And it's like, yeah,
it can be hard though with like in-laws and stuff like that, but just standing your ground and being comfortable in your marriage and where you guys are and stuff like that.
How did we enjoy the early stages of marriage while we were pregnant?
Great.
You can be
question.
honest.
Great question.
Because I know.
I don't know. It was, while pregnant, we didn't treat you like you're pregnant, I think. Like, we didn't coddle you and make you stay in bed and, like...
That's what you think that's supposed to happen?
No, but, like, I'm trying to think what you, like, are going for
How
here.
did we enjoy our marriage while the early stages... Because we were honeymooners, and I was pregnant. And if I were to just tell you how I felt like we enjoyed our marriage, I don't feel like we truly got to enjoy our marriage. I feel like we missed out on a lot of things because of the fact that I was pregnant. And that's also because of how hard my pregnancies are. With me having hyperemesis gravidarum, with me throwing up, me being in bed all day, I'm just like, just trying to survive.
So what are the things we did that you remember to work around those things?
We didn't do anything. I was just surviving most of the time.
Oh, okay.
That's why I feel like pregnancies have been so hard on us.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that's why I feel like pregnancy is probably our hardest part of our marriage. I don't feel like we did, not that like in a bad way, like, oh, we didn't do anything for me. We couldn't do anything for me. I couldn't do anything. I think the only pregnancy I feel like we did do a lot, which would have been, I feel like penguins, right? Where we did like all of the stuff, the pregnancy stuff.
See, you're thinking more of the pregnancy, like photo shoots and that stuff. I think I'm just thinking in general activities. Like compared to a couple that is not pregnant and what activities they do the first year of marriage compared to us and you being pregnant and the activities we did. Like when you were having your hyperemesis gravidium, we definitely were just surviving, right? Like just making sure that you ate as much as you could, drink as much as you can, and survive. But then we did have that period when you weren't feeling sick that we did get out and go about. So like we went like to the peanut festival, and those kind of things. We would try to go out to the movie, or we'd sit at home and popcorn and spend time together and stuff like that. And so,
I mean, if you're talking about stuff like
that's
that,
what I thought you were talking about. Like, what did we do to enjoy our marriage the first year, even though you were pregnant?
Do you feel like maybe, because I'm realizing like we both saw the question in different ways. What are the things that we did to even connect with the baby as a couple? And like there's so many ways I guess we could have taken that question, because I know that we did like all the typical, like the bedroom and purchasing all the stuff. And
we did Lamaze classes together.
Oh my goodness. Those Lamaze classes, I remember. Wow. Those Lamaze classes. Take them, but I don't think they truly prepare you.
Can anything prepare you?
They can't prepare you. I remember one part in Lamaze class where they kept saying like, oh, they're talking about fetal ejection. Like you get to the point where your body just pushes the baby out. And I remember being at a 10, being in so much pain. And I was like, they're telling me to push it. I'm like, they told me my body would do this by myself. They lied. They lied. And like, I was just so angry. Like, the Lamaze classes did not prepare you. But I do feel like that did bring us closer, because I remember you'd get off from work, you'd walk down the hallway, because we did the Lamaze classes at the same hospital that you worked at. So you walk down the hallway, we'd sit, we'd do them, and it was very informational. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it was just different activities that we spent together and stuff like that. I'm about to get married, but I'm scared. I'm getting cold feet because this is like a forever decision, and I'm not sure if I should make this decision.
That kind of okay. What advice we would give to that person? What advice would you give them? I'm trying to think.
So advice I would give to somebody that's thinking about or about to be married and like is
scared of the
getting
commitment?
scared of the commitment or cold feet, is just go for it. Just do it. If everything is there foundationally solid, like they love you, you love them, there's no red flags as far as like finances. Like you've talked about finances, you've talked about religion, you talked about values, you've met each other's families. Those kind of things, you're on the same page, just go for it. It's just like having a baby. Like nothing is going to truly prepare you for it. If you've talked through it and it's something you want and you want to go for it, like go for it. You know, don't let like the statistics scare you that over 50% of marriages end in divorce. Don't let finances scare you. Don't let the world wars scare you. Don't let your parents scare you. Like you, at the end of the day, do what's best for you. And if you're in love, like go for it.
I don't know what advice I would give them if they're scared of commitment. Like,
agree with Drew?
I don't know if I.
No, just say no. I don't agree. What would you tell them? You gotta tell them something. You can't say nothing.
Okay, I don't know if I agree. I think I would tell that person to give it more time. Yeah,
What if it's been 2 years?
And it's already been 2 years, then I would say maybe break up and take some time off from each other. Because I do really believe in this idea of if you break up with someone and then they really were the right person, I do think that you will gravitate back to them and it will work out in some way. So if it's been 2 years, if you're not completely sure, I don't know if I like the idea of like, just go for it. I would want someone to be very sure in us and not just like, just go for it, just jump into it. That's just like, no. I can't do it. So I disagree. I do. And I wish like I could be like that person who would just jump into it. It'll be all okay. But I would want to be very sure, and I would want the person who's marrying me to be very sure as well. I'm so glad we got to chat with each other today.
Thank you guys for being here this week.
Yeah, if you guys have any questions, if you'd love to hear more, if you want to tell Drue how wrong he is.
I don't have great dating advice, but I do have good financial advice. So
I do feel like you have good like husband advice. Mm-hmm. Like marriage. I feel like you have maybe not relationship, but marriage.
Yeah. Yeah, I have lived experience that I can go off of.
Okay, so we just started something new because we love to hear from you guys and we want to hear your thoughts. If you have any questions, if you're wanting to submit any stories that you would love for Drue and I to talk about, we have created a Google form sheet. You can include it, like you could put your name if you want to. You can make it anonymous if you want to, but we would love to hear from you guys. Send us your questions, send us any episode ideas, send us your feedback, send us your drama. Drue and I will talk about it. Drue and I, Courtney, will talk about it. We would love to hear from you guys. So we're going to put that link in the description and in our links, like in our bios. That way you guys can always talk to us. We'll talk to you guys back. We want to hear from you guys.
Yeah, it's super exciting. I'm ready to read them.
Me too.
I love a little bit of drama. So
y'all don't understand.
Make sure you guys send me some stories.
Drue loves drama. So he'll be happily giddy, feet up, reading all of these entries. I'm ready to talk about it.
Well, good luck adulting this week, guys. Have a great one.
Bye.
Bye.